up on ATV News.
A local group is distancing itself from the terrorist attacks in Paris.
Your clothes shopping options in Logan are going down, but your snacking options are going up.
The LDS Church held a rare press conference yesterday. Even more rare is what it's about.
This week, we've had more sports than we've ever had. You're going to have to try to keep up with our coverage. This week in your 7-day forecast, it looks like a checkerboard. I'll show you which day to expect the rain on ATV Weather.
All that and more, this is ATV News. Welcome to ATV News. I'm David Matthew Stewart.
And I'm Jamie Sun.
LDS leaders held a press conference Tuesday discussing the church's position toward LGBT individuals.
We want to support legislation where it's being sought that protects rights for LGBT individuals in housing and employment, some other areas, so long as it also provides for protections for religious liberty.
In the news conference, LDS leaders talked about their support towards laws protecting LGBT people. This isn't a change in the church's beliefs about gay marriage or other views, but it does show support for LGBT rights.
We must find ways to show respect for others whose beliefs and values and behaviors differ from our own, while never being forced to deny or abandon our own beliefs, values, and behaviors in the process.
LDS apostles say this approach is a desire to bring people with different opinions, views, and standpoints together.
The LDS Church recently announced the creation of 11 new missions, including one here in Logan. The new mission will absorb part of the Ogden mission boundary, and the newly established Orem, Utah mission will take over the Salt Lake Central mission entirely. There are 2 others that will be established in the United States for a total of 4. 5 new missions will be created in South America, and the final 2 will be established in Europe. The move comes as the church tries to accommodate the influx of missionaries. The number of current missionaries out in the field is approximately 85,000. When these new missions take effect, there will be 407 total missions in the church.
I think more than anything it's just an indicator of how much the church is growing, how fast the church is growing. We need new missions to be able to cope with all the new missionaries that we have, and it just means that more people are coming closer to Christ.
The new missions will take effect on July 1st of this year. With the recent attacks in Paris, many Muslims feel they are stereotyped as violent. A local Muslim leader addressed this issue during prayer service in the Logan Islamic Center on Friday. Christopher Campbell brings you the story.
Allahu Akbar.
Logan Muslims gathered for daily prayer service, where local leader Ayman al-Afifi spoke about the Paris attacks.
The first thing that should be said is a statement of fact that criminals are criminals, regardless of their religion.
He said, while Charlie Hebdo is offensive to Muslims, they shouldn't react with violence. Local Muslim Hamza Abdeloui said those who were violent soiled the religious group's reputation.
Muslims, I wouldn't call them brothers, I just call them Muslims. They did this. They made all Muslims look bad, and that's not cool.
Al-Afifi also said he would like to see hate speech against any group become illegal. It was in this building that Al-Afifi said he would like to see hate speech become illegal. But media law professor Tom Terry says this isn't very likely. Tom Terry said the Supreme Court has always favored freedom of speech, no matter how hateful it is.
The only way to change it in our system is a constitutional amendment. I find that very, very unlikely to ever happen.
There's a lot of support.
LDS Public Affairs Director Richard West, who attended the service, said while he doesn't agree with legal restrictions on free speech, we shouldn't use it to say hateful things.
Just because we have the right to say things that would be disrespectful doesn't mean that we should feel an obligation to be disrespectful.
Christopher Campbell, ATV News.
For more information, check out the Utah Statesman story on our Facebook page.
While new stores in Logan are opening, others are closing. The Cache Valley Mall closed 2 of its most popular stores in the last 2 weeks. American Eagle and Aeropostale are officially no longer in Logan. Utah State students had a lot to say about the change.
Quite upset, actually. Those 2 are one of my favorite stores.
The point is to be cool at college, so I'm going to wear American Eagle and Aeropostale, of course. And so I just don't know how I'm going to be cool now. And it's kind of a big concern for me and a lot of my friends. I'm sure you feel the same way.
Cache Valley Mall kind of sucks as it is, so losing 2 more stores will make it that much worse.
No way. No one's going to go there. Like, nobody. They'll probably just have to close it down.
If they got a store, I feel like that had less expensive clothes but was big. Like, I know most people go to Salt Lake just to go to H&M or Forever 21. I feel like if that came here, that could save a lot.
So, pretty much I feel a little bit guilty about all this because I try to shop local, but online is so much cheaper.
I know, that's where I do shopping too. So, when we come back, you already know how much you pay for books, tuition and class fees, but do you know how much you pay for campus food?
And an old USU icon is gone. Find out what it was and why it was torn down.
Body language can tell you all sorts of things. Like someone is having a stroke. Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. Face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty. Time to call 911 and get them to a hospital immediately. Learn the body language and spot a stroke fast.
They're coming. Places, everybody.
Light check. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Everything looks good on our end.
And lights.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
The wood burn ban amendment is still underway. A hearing was held last week and there were some heated arguments. Logan residents gathered at the Logan Courthouse on January 21st to discuss a ban on residential wood burning. The seasonal wood burn ban amendment would prevent the burning of solid fuel in fireplaces as well as using wood and coal stoves this November. The Idaho Department of Environmental Quality say that wood stoves cause 30% of the valley's air problems, and preventing the burning of wood in homes would help with the pollution in our valley.
People who own wood stoves in this area are good people. They bought them in good faith. They were breaking no laws.
And I think that should be everybody's right that's in this room to be able to heat their house so it's warm and the children can be warm.
There's an important thing we have to remember, though, that as a community, as a society, as a people, we have come to a conclusion that freedoms end where they start hurting other people. We have to do something about the problem.
If you'd like to submit a public comment on the issue, please visit our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/AggieTVNews.
If you crave hot drinks and sweet pastries, I have 2 words for you: Dunkin Donuts. Dunkin's grand opening was Tuesday, and for their first day, it wasn't as busy as expected. The drive-thru wasn't packed with cars doing donuts to get a spot in line, and this made it a short wait for those who came. The inside was a little bit busier and had more people, but there could have been more Dunkin' going on. It ended up being a casual opening, but for one Logan resident, it was a very exciting day.
used to live in Texas, and I would pass by Dunkin Donuts every single day on my way to work, and I was a manager, so stop off and pick up donuts and coffee for all my employees, give them all their treat, and loved it. Then I moved up here, there's no Dunkin Donuts, so I'm super excited. I'll make the trek up here from down at where I live to come get donuts every day.
Dunkin Donuts will be offering free coffee and hot chocolate for the rest of today and all of tomorrow.
While some college students are unhappy about food prices, others may think differently. Tori Green is live in Luke's Cafe with more on the story. Tori.
Thanks, David. Hey, I'm here at Luke's Cafe. A lot of the students can eat here that have meal plans, but a lot, they don't. And it's not because of the food, but it could be because of how much.
Every time someone slides their lunch, using one of their meals from the meal plan at the Aggie Marketplace. When students eat here, they say their money goes further than it does elsewhere on campus.
The 25-block meal plan is $200. That's $8 a meal. Whereas if you go and try and swipe and use one of those meals, you only get $6.50 at any of the retail dining locations.
Dining Services says they average out their prices.
We have a per person cost target we're trying to reach.
With them paying over $400,000 just for rent, they say it's not fair to compare them to big box stores.
We'll never compete with the Walmarts of the world. No restaurant can, you know. And to try to ask us as a restaurant to say, well, I can take my $6.50 and get a lot more food from Walmart. Well, of course you can. We don't compete with the Walmarts.
Because their sole job is to feed students.
We want to compete with the Chuck-A-Ramas of the world or the Golden Corral, some of those all-you-can-eat dining facilities. And hopefully we have at least the quality of the food and get your value that way.
What makes students fried, they don't like their meal plans. But there's two. One that you can share, and the other one that's just for you. Good, isn't it?
Definitely the most frustrating thing is that I am not allowed to buy other people's food, and I'm not allowed to buy what I want.
I don't like people to get mad at me, and when I tell them like they can't let their friend in, like they get really upset, and it like scares me. I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't make the rules, like don't bite my head off. But
some students are cool with it.
The meal plans are really good. You don't have to worry about making all 3 of your meals per day. And I like my meal plan because, yeah, it gives me less stress about buying food.
If you're planning on getting a meal plan, I suggest you get one that fits you. For me personally, I love to eat. I'm a football player. Because when you eat, all the pain, all the misery goes away. Back to you, David.
Thanks, Tori. If you have any comments, visit Dining Services Facebook page at www.facebook.com/USU Dining.
A new start for Utah State University is beginning as the Golden Toaster was torn down this month. The Golden Toaster, an old Latter-day Saint chapel in Logan, named and known after its unique shape, went down this month. Land became Utah State's property in result of the 2011 agreement between the university and the LDS Church. The plan is to put up a major university building, but what it will be is not yet decided.
It's sad that Toaster has to go, but I'm hoping that the new building, if I'm here long enough to see it, is unique and iconic as Toaster.
When we come back, ATV's Bradley Wells will have your Cache Valley weather report.
Temperature in Logan is 44 degrees.
Can you concern with me? Imagine what you'd see if every child had a book to read. 'Cause every kid across the nation deserves a book to read, and we can make it happen right now. No, I don't know what you've been told, but kids with books learn so much more. So the mission is for us to get a book to each and every child. So let's join hands, book people unite, unearth hidden passion. Come on, we'll have a good time. Planting seeds of inspiration to motivate some magic.
Read to a child today and spark a lifetime of ambition.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Welcome back. So, Brad, I noticed you're on a wheelie kneel chair. Did you slip on some ice?
No, I did not. I wish that would be the reason. But the weather's been too warm for that anyways, even with the moisture. Let's take a look at the national radar. I'll show you what the weather's like. So as you can see on the national radar right there, there's really not a lot going on across the whole country. The only thing that you can see is right over here, right over South Dakota, Wyoming, and Nebraska. And that's the storm, the moisture that we just got, which really wasn't a lot. It was more of a drizzle than anything. But let's take a real quick look here down at Utah, where we're at. And as you can see, there's a few spots here and there, but I mean, really, there's not a lot going on. It's mostly just giving us a cloudy sky, and the weather's pretty warm for January. I mean, we're in January. It should be cold weather, you'd think. But let's take a look at the 7-day forecast, see what it's like. Today, Wednesday, there's a little bit of rain. We got some moisture going on. Weather's 43 degrees, low of 26. Thursday, it's a high of 42, low of 26. Friday was a high of 42 and a low of 25. And Saturday was a high of 40 and a low of 20. All of those days and Sunday are going to be partly cloudy days, pretty sunny, so pretty crazy. High of 39 on Sunday and a low of 24. Monday and Tuesday brings back the moisture. We get a little bit of rain, low percentage chances though. 40 high on Monday, low of 24. Tuesday is a high of 39 and a low of 23. So it's pretty crazy. I mean, it's January and we're in the 40s. I mean, it's pretty warm. A lot of people are liking it, but that's not good for potential summer drought.
So if it's warm enough, we could probably barbecue for Super Bowl.
Yeah, you know, that could happen. That's coming up on Sunday, so we'll see. So it doesn't happen very often. But let's take it, toss it over to Chris with sports.
Hey, here I am at sports. So, over the weekend, this may not be boxing and that may not be a German, but if it was, this would be break point. We'll let you know who's yelling, "Yo, Adrian," after the break.
Thanks for calling the GED Pep Talk Center. Jerry Stiller speaking. Your level 7 in your face pep talk.
I can keep pushing. Believe me, I'm good at it.
Once you've got your GED diploma, you'll feel so good about yourself.
You tell him.
Mr. Trejo, can I transfer this guy to you? He needs something a little more
persuasive.
Whatever motivation you need, we've got a pep talk for you. Get your GED pep talk and find free classes at yourged.org.
You make me wear my bike helmet. Taught me never to run with scissors. You tell me to stay away from drugs. To always buckle my seatbelt. And to follow the swimming rules.
You're always looking out for me and trying to keep me safe.
So why do you keep a loaded gun in your drawer?
Here in the garage.
Closet. Shoebox under the bed.
Where anyone can get to it.
How safe is that?
How safe is that?
How safe is that?
You asked them to follow some safety rules. Now they're asking you. In fact, they're counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. If you own a firearm and are not using it, please be responsible and be sure that it's stored in a safe place. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org.
This is probably the best team to ever come to Logan. So you want to see some good tennis and to see where we line up with the best in the conference?
Of course you do. And that's why I'm here with the ATV Sports Report. So let's get right to it. First off, the nationally ranked San Diego State team is tied with USU coming into Logan, where they start this first match Actually, they get behind 3 matches
A lot
to
of
2.
nerves up in my
Okay.
muscles and stuff.
Well, that's Jamie
Just after
Barajas,
one
and we'll tell you why he's awesome. Here he goes. See? And he's battling the 6'5" Hendrik Jabens, who is from Germany. But you wouldn't... Sorry. Let's see where we're at here. Okay. So he battles his way back after getting down in the first set, and coming back, he would earn his point here and give the Aggies a 4-3 clinch over the Aztecs.
A lot of nerves up in my muscles and stuff. Just after I won, it's all gone.
Beginning of the match, we were little puppies, and at the end of the match, we saw a little freshman come out and play like a big dog. So pretty pumped about that.
And pumped he should be. That win moves the Aggies to 7-0 on the season, and after Friday against Montana State, they will look to be best in state with a Saturday night match against University of Utah. So speaking of being the best in state, the women's tennis team won in Provo for the first time since 1999. Actually, that's a gymnastics team. Scoring came from a career high 49.25 from junior Mackenzie Davis. Over in women's tennis, we'll break out the dustpans because these Aggies were doing some sweeping during their doubleheader. First up, Idaho State, and first done, like usual, senior Mackenzie Davis, who sets up this slam. Let's see it again here. Whoop! And that would give Davis the school record for career wins, and, well, it meant a lot to her.
I feel really blessed to be here and to be playing with these teammates. It's just, they mean the world to me, and this team is amazing, and I'm just excited that they're doing so well, and that we can kind of build on the momentum we've got going so far this year.
After sweeping Idaho State, the next game of the doubleheader was against Colorado Mesa, and it would look almost identical to the first, as Nini Gunzler would help finish off the doubles, and then she would do the same here in this singles win. Both easy matches for her. And Mackenzie Davis, as we saw earlier, is a veteran of the team, and well, she shows off that sweet slam again, straight down the line, getting her point and her match. But I think she might have taught a couple lessons to the sophomore, Katie Sweet, who also got the win and led to the Aggie sweep of both matches, 7-0. The Lady Aggies kept the momentum from the weekend and traveled to Provo, Utah last night, where they upset the Cougars with a 4-3 victory, making them a perfect 4-0 on the season. Men's basketball was at home Wednesday night, and they were looking to shake off a tough overtime loss to UNLV. The Aggies had a tough matchup against a good Wyoming team, and Chris Smith here ignores the tight D and drains the 3. But it was the quickness of the Cowboys that would earn this 3-point play and draw the foul on Jalen Moore. But the defense would make all the difference in the world as Colette gets this block, which was just one of 15 turnovers forced by the Aggies. And Moore there ignores the little defender and gets his layup. USU broke down the Wyoming team, getting a win of 56-44.
Like, we really bothered the ball. They didn't shoot that great of a percentage, so our defense really worked tonight.
We'll see at San Diego State. That's about as big a challenge as there is in this league on the road, but at least we're going in with a huge home win.
The men's team will be on the road against San Diego State Saturday, where they will try to take down the first-ranked team that's tied with Wyoming in the Mountain West. The women's basketball team was coming off their first conference win of the season against Air Force when they hosted the Nevada Wolfpack Wednesday night. Utah State was looking to keep their winning ways and started things off with a strong, jumping to a 17-8 advantage after this fast break layup by Jasmine Porter. See it there? Ooh, how sweet it is. But the Wolfpack would fight back, tying things up at 17 after the fast break layup by guard Ayman Lathan. The Aggies took over in the second half as freshman Tyler Clark scores a career-high 17 points off of passes from teammates and her specialty, the fast break bucket. Utah State went on to win the game 68-57 for their second conference victory.
Our coach really emphasizes us on coming out harder in the second half because we struggled with it, but I feel like lately we've done really well with coming out in the second half with the big boom.
The Aggies were back on the court against the Runnin' Rebels, and it was not pretty at the start as the UNLV team jumped out to a quick 13-3 lead off of steals and easy fast break buckets. But Utah State didn't give up and tied things up at the half 36-all. Utah State again came out with a big boom in the second half and ran away with the win over UNLV 85-72, getting their third victory in a row. The Aggies now sit at 3-5 in the conference play after losing to Wyoming last night by a score of 51-86, ouch, but will look to get things back on track at home when they take on San Diego State Saturday night. So in case you've been living under a rock, you probably know that the Super Bowl is this weekend. And we have a couple of Aggie connections to the game with Bobby Wagner and Robert Turbin on the Seahawks, both looking for their second consecutive Super Bowl ring. But that will be going up against a somewhat deflated Patriots team. And well, it should be a good game, guys. Back to you.
Thanks, Chris. Coming up, see how a group of elementary kids made a lot of pictures with just one color.
If you store your guns properly, I'll feel safer when I'm playing outside.
Safer when walking home.
I won't have to tell so many family members. I'm sorry.
I won't hear as many scary stories.
And I won't have to tell my kids. This isn't a drill.
Please.
Please, do it for us.
Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Remember, always lock it up. Visit N.
Welcome back. You can see a new exhibit, Crafting a Continuum, at the Nora Eccles Harrison Museum of Art here on campus. I went to the museum, but I ran into something a little different on the way. USU's Kane College of the Arts was looking to drum up business for their Blue experience. From an Aggie Bull ice sculpture to food trucks, people celebrated Arts Week with the theme Blue. And a special exhibit welcomed people on Friday. New this year, local elementary and middle school children painted all in blue, as if they were looking through blue glasses.
I put out a bunch of fine art pics like Starry Night and some Paul Klee pictures and Whistler's Mother, things like that, and asked the kids to portray those.
Everyone was doing other different things, so I was thinking I'd do something different, kind of with that fit with my religion.
And then also some of them did whatever they wanted.
The young artists had only one class period to complete their paintings. That's just 40 minutes, including settling into the class and cleaning up.
For that short a time, we get really good outcomes. There's some really amazing ones here.
This is what I did in 20 minutes. Painting in one color is quite a challenge, but blue was chosen for a reason.
Because it's part of the sky.
Besides the sky, it's Utah State's color. This was the 5th annual Arts Week at Utah State. By bringing school kids art, organizers hope to get more of the community involved and make it a week that couldn't be beat. The museum is open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
You may not encourage many 12-year-olds to stay up late playing with Legos, but these kids from Hyde Park may have earned a little leeway on their curfew. This is not your typical playdate. These kids are practicing for the statewide competition called Utah's First Lego League. This team qualified earlier this month by programming their robot to do whatever it needed, and while it may not look like the Legos you remember, they're probably just as fun. All right, thanks for joining us with for ATV News this week. We'll see you next week.